USA against Netherlands match. I have to hear your take on this.
Ooh, well, this World Cup has been really intriguing. Teams that normally get off to a fast start have not, and then other teams who don't normally start fast have been starting fast. And so the USA-Netherlands game was kind of like that. I mean, USA played Vietnam and didn't look particularly astonishing, and neither did the Netherlands playing Portugal. And so they came into the game, two heavyweight contenders, and slugging it out. And I have to say, I love Lindsay Herrera goal.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
She was not playing patty cake, and then she got all angry and decided to even the score line, and I loved that about her. So that game was fantastic. It was a tie, but we'll take it.
Bri, I like that you tapped into that emotion, because I think of you saving that penalty and the emotion that you showed in that moment. But it's a tournament, right? It's really a marathon within this month for this group. And this is the time of year where you maybe reflect back on it a little bit more of that 99 run that you guys had. Do you think about it every year, or was it mostly just World Cup years where all those memories start flooding back?
It depends. I went for a long time without really thinking about it a lot. And then whenever the World Cup pops up, it inevitably does pop up. And so I've been thinking about it a lot. And this year's team, now it's win or go home, basically. They have to beat Portugal, at least tie them. But you don't want to limp into the knockout phases without a win. And so they're going to have to do really well and then basically just win or die. It's like that, and I love it. I love the fact that everything is on the line every game, and you just got to focus in and do your job and move on to the next.
Can you still feel that emotion of when Brandi Chastain scored the winning penalty and you guys are celebrating? Can you feel that still, of what that moment was like?
Yeah, I can. I talk about it a lot when I do keynote speeches at corporations and organizations all the time, all over the country. I talk about that moment. I tell people, I basically bring them into the goal with me, just how focused I was and how I used to not look at my teammates shooting, because all I wanted to focus on was what I could control, and that was making that one save. And I like to bring people through that all the time. It is still amazing. Every time I see that save, I get fired up. And I love that it doesn't change.
I love that you brought that up, because we often talk about the kick and the taking off of the shirt, but that win is not possible without you. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah. Thank you, Jenny. We needed that.
Bri, your legacy.
I set the table for me, so.
Yeah. Your legacy has inspired so many, and myself in particular, watching a Black woman on the U.S. national team and all of the strides that you've made and all the advocacy work that you've done. How is it now you've paved the way for these young players to see such a diverse women's national team with these players leading the charge in this tournament?
It makes my heart full. I mean, it really does. Between seeing brown and black girls, taking the spotlight, Sophia Smith, Trinity Rodman, Crystal Dunn, who's been doing it for a while now. And now you have Naomi Girma in there, who's going to be on that team for a very long time. And you have girls of color in the front line, in the midfield, and in the back.
All over the
so
place.
It's really wonderful for me to see. And then also, players who are out, who are gay and who aren't afraid of it. And it's really nice to see that as well. And with obviously Megan Rapinoe leading the way there. But, one of the most rewarding things for me was Megan last year came up to me and said, you're the reason why I can be me. And that actually made me cry, because I didn't know that. She felt that way. And so that was really cool and very rewarding for me.
Now, Bri, you were a massive hero of mine growing up. My mom and my parents and I watched every single game. I think my mom made every single save right along with you. I was a striker growing up, but I enjoyed playing in goal. And those gloves right over your right shoulder, I insisted that I also get those gloves. So you were a massive hero of mine growing up. You have been a huge advocate for mental health. And we know, as a Black woman in the game, and even more pinpointed, a Black goalkeeper. Goalkeepers suffer a lot. There's so much pressure on their shoulders. Talk to me about how you dealt with that when you were coming up as a player, and how you now help others deal with it.
So one of the things that I've always had a pretty good grasp on is my philosophy of how I play. And a lot of that is my mentality. And I got that from my dad. I mean, my dad was a very rational, cerebral thinker, and I got my passion and my heart from my mom. And so I am basically my parents' daughter in everything I do. And so my dad always used to say, keep your eye on the ball, keep your focus. You keep control of what you can control, and don't worry about everything else. And so that extended throughout my whole life. It's a very nerve-wracking position to play, and most people don't like it. It's not their cup of tea because there's so much responsibility and so little glory in it. But when it works, and you're iron cage mindset like I had, and it just worked for me. It made sense to me. I guess I was a bit of a closet control freak also, and so in goal was the only position where you can control the destiny of the other team. So that's part of the reason why I liked it as well.
Wow. As a fellow control freak, I struggle on team sports because I also need a lot of control.
Maybe
but
you should have been a keeper.
There's no way I could have been a keeper. Now in pickup or in indoor, they're like, oh, everyone has to turn off. I said, not me. If the ball comes towards me, I'm moving out of the way. I'm not Bri. But on that topic, this Women's World Cup is the first time that there are concussion spotters. Talk to me about that. I didn't really know about this until we brought it up with you.
Absolutely. I am thrilled that there are concussion spotters. I've been an advocate of mental health for a long time. I've been an advocate for the game to change, to allow for people to have an understanding that a head injury is not something that you take lightly. It's not something you play through. And so now that there's concussion spotters, because there's a lot of collisions in the game that may look innocent, that are very devastating. And sometimes a player needs a little bit of help to realize that they really should not continue playing. And so now FIFA has this instilled, and I think it's fantastic. And I want that responsibility taken out of the hands of people who may not have the player's best interest in mind. And as an athlete, you want to continue to play. I get it, but it's just not safe. And why not, live to play another day? Just come out of that one game, get assessed, be safe, be careful. And then once you're cleared, you get back in there. Because the truth is, too, you could actually be not only damaging yourself, but you're hurting your team by continuing on impaired. And so I think a lot of players are finally realizing that. And I appreciate FIFA for instilling these concussion spotters.
It's nice to always have a team supporting you. And one of the things that you've done, Bri, in the last few years is you've worked alongside Washington Spirit, specifically in that year that Trinity Rodman got drafted. There was a lot of talk about Trinity Rodman, of course. With a name like that, you're going to have some weight on your shoulders. Would she adapt to never playing collegiate soccer to straight into the pros? Well, she had you, Bri, to lean on as a mentor. What did you learn about Trinity Rodman then, and how have you seen her navigate what can be a really difficult transition with what seems to us like such ease?
I'm telling you, the first time I sat down and spoke with Trinity, my wife Krissa and I went, had coffee and breakfast with her and her roommate at the time, and just speaking to her those first few times, I could tell that she was ready. Like just the way she talks about it, the way she approached it, she has a presence about her and a poise, and she is a hard worker and she understands, and it's very clear to me that she was ready for this opportunity. And so it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, to just bypass college ball, because you learn so many things about yourself. But of the few people that I've met that are able to do it, Trinity is definitely one of them. And she's been ready for this her whole life. And I could tell. And she's doing the best she can. She's doing a fantastic job. And it is a lot of pressure, but of course she has a great surrounding cast with her. And I think she's handling it incredibly well. And we're going to see a whole lot of Trinity Rodman in the next coming decades.
Bri, you gotta tell me who the dog is behind you. Please.
We need to know.
Sorry, so this is the famed Sunny Bucket. She is a Nova Scotia duck-tolling retriever. Wow. She's 13 years old. She's got one eye, 6
I was going to say, it looks like she only has one eye.
She's deaf, so if I'm trying to tell her to sit down, she won't hear me anyway, but I always like to have her in my office when I do interviews. Normally, She's well behaved, but today she decided to make a cameo. So
Okay.
there she
We love it.
Give her a scratch for us. A little pet.
Bri, we really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. We will continue to support the U.S. and all the things that you're doing. We're just so honored to have you as a part of our CBS Sports team. You know, I say, guys, by the way, I work with Briana Scurry. Don't believe me. So
What a flex.
just saying. Thank you so much, Bri.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bri.
you,
It's a
Bri.
pleasure.
Appreciate it. Go